Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to yet another episode of our rogue leveling time lapse. This time we are leveling from level 32 to level 33. Since this level didn't take me that much time, this video is gonna be fairly short, but I think we can still talk about a few things. So today I thought we could talk about things from retail that I think could still fit into Classic without ruining it. But before we go into that, I have a bit of practical information in regards to my channel here. So if you're not really interested in that, I'll leave a time mark down here below that you can just skip ahead to. The observant viewer might have noticed that I upload videos 3 times a week at least. That is the general number. I upload 2 World of Warcraft videos and 1 Minecraft video. I will continue uploading 3 times a week at least. But I would like to tone down so that I do 1 Minecraft video, 1 World of Warcraft video, and 1 random video, as I would like to start playing a few other games maybe, or just also maybe do a bit what I'm in the mood for. So if I want to do a Minecraft video, I'll do that. If I want to do an additional World of Warcraft video, I'll do that. Also, it's hard to keep up with new and exciting topics all the time for these videos. So I thought cutting it down to 1 video a week from World of Warcraft would maybe make it a bit easier for me to come up with topics. And on that note, you are also very welcome to suggest anything that we should talk about or discuss in these videos. Anyways, that was just a bit of practical information, so there will still be World of Warcraft. I am in no way critiquing any of these videos. I will just upload 1 less a week for the most part. The random video could be a World of Warcraft video when I feel like it. Anyways, let's get back on topic. So things from retail that could fit into Classic, in my opinion, without ruining it. First off, that's achievements. I was one of those guys that were really stoked about getting achievements to the game. So I think achievements adds a new level to the game where you can start using the game in different ways. And no one is forcing you to do it. It doesn't benefit you in any way. It doesn't balance the game on and off because everything you win or gain is cosmetic. So I really like that. I managed to farm the insane achievement on my priest. You know, the one where you have to get Bloodsail Buccaneers up to, was it Honored or Revered? I can't even remember anymore. And then you have to get all the Goblin factions up to Exalted and some other factions. Let's not go into that now. And well, it was a mindless grind, but back then I enjoyed it, and tons of other achievements like Lawmaster and anyways, I was not here to list up all the achievements I did, but I enjoyed that. It made me do other things with the game that I probably wouldn't have done otherwise, and that was just my point. Also, the feats of strength I really enjoyed. Also, they kind of like gave you something that others didn't have when you played vanilla. For example, there was this feat of strength if you had a certain amount of weapon skills leveled up to max, because at some point they removed weapon skills, so it kind of became a novelty thing to kind of prove that you were there. And it's not that I really use my achievements to show off or anything, but it's just, maybe it's because I'm like a sucker for statistics, that you can always go in and kind of see the history of, if you will, of what you did and how you played. I really like that part. Then there's the mount inventory thingy. I honestly can't remember what it's called, but at some point you had like this spellbook thing where you learned or whatever to summon a mount, and whenever you got a new mount you didn't have to waste backspace to keep it around. So I really like that, and I think we could add that again. Some people might argue that that would kind of ruin the whole, you have to be careful how much backspace you use and stuff, but I think vanity items should never affect your gameplay, and in some ways it does, because if I want to have 5 different mounts on me, I'm gonna sacrifice 5 item slots. Then there's toys. So there are toys in the game that you can find and earn from certain quests, but I kind of like that you kind of had this toy box, right? The same kind of thing you had for the mount, and then you could basically use your toys wherever or whenever you wanted to, which I personally found really amazing. So a bit in the same ballpark, I'd like the same thing they did with pets, or they called them companions, I think, that you also had this sort of inventory for your companions. But on top of that, there was the pet battle. So I am quite the Pokemon fan. I like to play the Pokemon games, And I think the pet battles was like the next best thing to Pokemon, and you had that all inside World of Warcraft. And it also added yet another layer to the game where you would go around to find these animals and capture them or buy them or farm them or whatever, which I also really enjoyed, and at the same time without changing the game balance. It doesn't reward me with tier 2 items or anything crazy, so that does not affect that balance at all. So the last 2 points I have on my list, we'll take them one at a time, might be a bit more intrusive to the whole game balance thing, especially because it is about balancing. And here I'm not talking about class balancing, making rogues stronger or weaker or whatnot. I'm talking about the endgame gear. I find it really sad that if you go for a druid, that your entire raid set is minded at you doing healing and things like that. So it's you need to put a lot of extra effort to kind of break out of that, what do you call it, that box that you're in. So it's kind of cookie cut into that the warrior is the tank, and if you're lucky you get to be the off tank as a druid. I know there are exceptions to this, but usually this also involves exceptional guilds or exceptional players or exceptional circumstances. I remember there was this guild that tanked AQ40 with a hunter pet because those were awesome players and that was doable, but I don't really think it's a fair thing that you say, oh, you can play this druid to a new player. It's a hybrid class. It can be a caster, it can be melee, it can be tank, it can be whatever you want. But when you get to the end game, especially the gear pushes you in a certain direction. And on top of that, the specs you have, right? So let's take the paladin for example. You are doomed to be a DPS or a healer. You will not be tanking, even though you are a viable tank, but not viable enough, if you catch my drift. And I just think that these classes that actually have these abilities to do different things are just put into one box, and there's just one thing that you prefer them to do. I think the warrior is the most viable in terms of that, because they are very good tanks and they can be very good DPS as well. So if you really want to bother leveling a warrior, which I think is tedious in Classic, you definitely have your options cut out for you. Anyways, I think I covered both my last points there about the gear and about the spec. I would be happy to hear your opinion about this, because I know there are people that definitely does not agree to these things, and I would love to hear some counter arguments. Anyways, it looks like we are really close to getting that level up. And here it is. So thank you for watching and thank you for listening. And remember, if you like what we're doing here, consider leaving a like. It really helps out. And also, if you're new, you should subscribe. You should definitely subscribe, just to see all the cool stuff we're doing on this channel. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and you'll see me in the next video.